If you are thinking about picking one up, I just want to walk you through my experience living with it, what it does well, where it falls short, and who I think it actually makes sense for. At its core, it is a padded bench that works as a seat, an ottoman, or a surface for setting things down. I have been using it at the foot of my bed, mostly for the everyday stuff that sounds small until you do it constantly, like sitting down to put on socks, setting a hoodie down for a minute, or laying out tomorrow's clothes without tossing them on the floor. If you like the idea of having a dedicated spot in the bedroom that is not the bed, this kind of bench can be surprisingly useful. What made this one stand out to me is the combination of the tufted upholstery, the nailhead trim, and the casters on the bottom. You see a lot of benches that look similar at a glance, but the wheels change how it behaves in real life. I move it more than I expected to, especially when I am cleaning, vacuuming, or just shifting the room around a little. Instead of grabbing it with both hands and dragging it, I can nudge it and it rolls where I need it. In person, the look is very traditional. It has that older, classic furniture vibe, with the button tufting on top and the nailheads along the edges. It reads more formal than something modern and minimal, so it is going to fit best in a room that already has warmer tones, classic shapes, or anything slightly vintage looking. In my space, it makes the end of the bed feel finished, like the room has a purpose beyond just sleeping. The upholstery feels like something chosen to be durable, not delicate. When I look closely at the seams, the stitching looks even and consistent. That matters because this is the kind of bench that gets a lot of casual contact, people sliding on and off it, bags getting set down, and clothes getting tossed there for a minute. The tufting also helps it keep its shape. The cushioning on top feels supportive rather than sink in soft. When I sit, it does not feel like I am dropping into it. It feels more like a firm seat with a little give, which I prefer for putting on shoes. The buttons and tufting are also practical in a way, because the surface does not look sloppy after regular use. It is not that perfectly smooth, fluffy pillow look that gets wrinkled fast. It holds its appearance well, even after I have been using it daily. The nailhead trim is straight and looks neatly placed. It is the kind of detail you notice more up close than from across the room. I will say, nailhead trim can catch on delicate fabrics if you brush against it the wrong way, like a loose knit sweater. I have not had a serious issue, but I am a bit mindful when I walk by with something that could snag. The casters are the feature I ended up appreciating the most. On my floor, it rolls easily with light pressure. If I want to pull it away from the bed to vacuum, I can do it without making it a whole project. And once it is in place, it does not drift around on its own. When I sit on it, it stays put. That balance is important because wheels can sometimes make furniture feel unstable. Here, it feels steady. I have sat on the edge in the middle and kind of off to one side while tying a shoe, and it has not felt tippy. Build-wise, it feels solid. When I put weight on it, I do not hear creaks or feel flex. That is one of those things you notice over time. Some benches feel fine on day one, then start making noise a week later. This one has stayed quiet for me. The legs and base feel supportive, and the bench feels like one piece rather than a wobbly frame with padding on top. Setup was straightforward. Mine required attaching the lower parts, and it did not take long. The main thing is to tighten everything evenly so it sits level and does not develop a wobble. I flipped it over on a soft surface so I did not scuff the upholstery while I worked. Once it was assembled, I rolled it into position, and that was basically it. In daily use, it ends up doing a lot of small jobs. I sit on it every morning to put on shoes. I use it as a temporary landing spot for laundry that I am folding. If I am making the bed, I slide it out of the way, finish up, then slide it back. It also works when someone comes into the bedroom and needs somewhere to sit for a minute that is not the bed. Comfort-wise, it is not a lounge chair, but for short sits, it is comfortable and supportive. I also tested it outside the bedroom just to see if it would make sense elsewhere. In a living room, it can work as extra seating, and it can work as a place to set a tray. As a coffee table substitute, it depends on your household. If you need a hard surface for drinks without a tray, this is not that. But if you already use trays, it can work. In a dining space, it could work as a bench seat if the height matches your table, but I would only do that if the room style matches, because the look is pretty specific. Now I want to address something from the usual review template. There are no smart features, there is no mobile app, there is nothing to pair, charge, or update, and honestly I like that. It is a bench. It just sits there, looks the way it looks, and does the job. The only real feature in practice is that it rolls, and that it feels steady when you actually use it. As for limitations, the style is not subtle. If you are into clean, modern lines, this might feel too traditional. Also, because it is upholstered, you do have to think about spills and pets. If you have a cat that likes to scratch, this is the kind of texture they might test. For basic dust and everyday upkeep, I have just been using a vacuum with a soft brush attachment. If you eat on it or have kids climbing on it with snacks, you will probably want a plan for spot cleaning. Another small thing is that the wheels make it easy to move, which is great. But if you have a very uneven surface, you might notice it rolls more readily than a bench with fixed legs. On my flooring it has been fine, but it is worth knowing. Overall, my impression is that the Berta Upholstered Nailhead Ottoman bedroom bench is a practical piece if you want a bench that looks classic, feels sturdy, and is easy to reposition during normal life. It has become one of those items I use constantly without thinking about it, which is usually the best compliment I can give furniture. It is not trying to be complicated. It is just doing a simple job in a way that feels thought through. If you have been using a bedroom chair as a clothes pile, or you want a spot to sit that is not the edge of the bed, this is the kind of bench that can genuinely help with that day-to-day routine. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with any questions, or tell me what your bedroom setup looks like and what kind of bench you are considering. Thank you for watching.